Welcome back. One of the things that we tried to do on this program, and indeed with all of our programming here on Park City Television, is keep the stoke high, because we live in an absolutely beautiful place, and sometimes our friend Mother Nature gives us a little bit of a challenge in the form, this year at least, of not quite so much snow. That being said, over the holidays, not only did we have some fantastic snow, but I also had a wonderful experience in reading this fine publication that combines two of my favorite words into one. I read an article by a freelance writer from right here in Park City. It talked about the ski life, and it just made me feel so happy and so good about being here that I wanted to invite Kristen Gould Case for a little chat. How are you?
Very good.
So
Thanks
nice
for
to
having
meet
me.
you.
It's really
Absolutely.
nice to meet you.
Thank you for writing an absolutely fantastic piece
Thank you.
about raising your kids
Yep.
in a ski lifestyle.
Yep.
You've got a couple of boys that
Yep.
I might have gotten a little misty when you described, you know, knowing when the days were over that they were going to be in the house every day.
Exactly.
But really, really lovely writing.
Thank you. It was really fun to do this. I've done a lot of writing about skiing over the years, but this was very personal. And it was, so I loved doing it. Really, personal essays are kind of my favorite thing to write, but it was also harder. You know, it's not just interviewing someone and writing down what they say. It's bringing up all these memories of our own family life.
Yes, it's not just reportage.
Exactly. But what was great about it is it brought back so many memories. When I started I wrote pages and pages of memories from my, me growing up skiing and my husband's stories of growing up skiing. And I actually think I have enough, maybe for 3 more essays with a different slant after writing this one.
Yes.
I was like, oh yeah, well I want to write about, not, this one's about skiing with our family, but about skiing with my girlfriends, because that's huge. I ski with girlfriends a lot, or skiing with my stepdad when I was little, different things. So it brought back a lot of happy memories.
That's fantastic. And one of the things that kind of made me chuckle is that I pictured you, initially, I pictured you writing this in the midst of a snowstorm. And then it occurred to me that given the publication date, that it could have been the 4th of July
it
when
was,
you finished
I think,
up
April
the
and May, like mud season.
Sure.
So you have
when you've got more time on your hands.
Yes, you have more time, but you do have to get in the zone and kind of think about, oh yeah, winter. And
that's right.
Sometimes when I'm writing, I write for different magazines,
Sure.
and you're always about 6 months out. And so sometimes when it's summer and I'm writing about winter, I'll get out some of my little snow globes from Christmas, or I'll even put on some Christmas music sometimes. It kind of gets me in the mood.
Burn the ski-themed incense?
Yeah, maybe a pine candle or something.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. A little spruce in there.
But
Very cool.
It's fun. And I have to say, you're talking about low snow year, this year, which is true. But I skied this morning at Canyons, and you know what? We're so spoiled. I mean, and especially last winter, we had an epic winter.
We did.
And we got used to having powder like every week, but it's still good. It's still good. You're still outside. The sky was blue. It was beautiful. The conditions were okay considering what we've had. And, I think for visitors, people who are used to skiing on the East Coast, it's still amazing to them. The views and the beauty. It's still amazing to me. I've lived here 31 years. And, you get lazy sometimes when it's so close and easy, and you're not having a great snow year. But I went out again this morning, and, it was great to be out there. So.
And there is something of renewal in going through the process, getting your gear on.
Yes.
And I kind of learned this process living in Southern California with the road bicycle, and I've applied it to getting out on the hill. That it's like, don't think beyond just getting your gear together.
Getting there.
And in this case, just go get in the car and drive on over. And you can always turn around and come home.
Exactly.
But I think of a ski day as similar to a workout, in that you never finish a ski day and go, geez, I really wish I hadn't gone today.
Never. I've never had a bad ski day, ever. I mean, no matter what happens, no matter what the conditions are, you come home at the end of the day and you've had fun, and you've been with family or friends, and you've been outside, and you've seen nature, and it's all good. It's all good.
True.
I have to say, getting ready is not my favorite part. I mean, every Saturday morning when the alarm goes off at 7, even if it's powder day, I'm not that excited about getting up and getting out of bed and getting the gear together. But you know that the minute you're there, it's going to be great, and you're going to be having fun. And the minute you're on the mountain, you're like, okay, I'm so glad I'm here, And you do. I think after really just the first day of finding all your gear and getting everything together in one place, then it just becomes easy. You just grab everything and go. Some people are super organized and have their bag packed the night before. That's not me.
No.
But I know where everything is. So.
Grab and go.
Grab and go.
Well, after 31 years, right?
Yeah, you kind of get used to it.
Talk a little bit about the writer's life and your experience with not only doing this kind of deeply satisfying work, but, and I noticed that you've also done some work with the folks at Deer Valley.
Yep. So I was initially in advertising and marketing in my career, and then after my boys were born, I didn't want to spend that much time working away from home. And I was an English and a French major in college. I just always loved literature and writing. And so I just started freelance writing after they were born, and I've done PR writing for Ski Utah and Deer Valley, for like 15 years, but all freelance, so I write about, do their press releases and their newsletters and things. And then I was editor of Park City Magazine here for 16 years. And that was just the best because, again, mostly worked from home, went in for meetings and things like that. But I love Park City, and that was just a great way to get to brag about Park City. We wrote about everything, the food, the restaurants, the people, the sports. And then I've written for National Magazine, Ski Magazine, Delta Sky, again, all freelance, but just being well connected in Park City. People know I'm a writer, and if a national magazine calls the chamber, they'll say, oh, we have a local writer here who can help you out. Yeah. But I absolutely love it, and I don't make a lot of money as a freelance writer, but I make enough to make a living and get by, and I'm just thrilled by that. And I think for me, what's enabled, financially, if you have kind of a few steady things, like some PR writing, something that you have, get paid every month, and then getting to do these more personal articles is kind of the fun stuff that goes on top of that. And the two things together make it work.
A very nice combination.
Yes.
Have you considered, or are you, especially with a piece like this, that I'm sure that I'm not the only person who was felt compelled to reach out. It was such a feel-good piece, and of course the photographs of your family.
It was fun.
Does that beckon a larger work, a larger piece?
Maybe. I mean, again, maybe I don't. Maybe there's some other essays. Yeah. I'm pretty busy right now.
I was going to say, do you have time?
I really, probably not right now.
Between opening chairs.
Yeah, yeah. I don't, it's funny, when you ride a chair with a visitor, you live here. You must ski every day. It's like, well, no, I work.
Yeah,
and we have kids, and we have a mortgage, and we have our life. But, getting to ski 2 or 3 times a week is pretty
really
nice.
Good number. When you add it up at the end of the season and compare it to even rabid vacationers, there's a
We're super lucky, yeah. And what's nice with writing is you can always kind of, things you're doing in your daily life, then it makes you think of articles you want to write, and you can pitch a story to a magazine, or you meet someone new in town and you just think, you're fascinating, I want to write a profile about you for somebody. So it's just, one feeds the other. It's really nice. I did write one book, and that was a coffee table book about Deer Valley Resort, and that was 15 years ago now. I can't believe it. So that was probably the longest thing I've ever written, and but I loved it. I learned so much. I got to interview so many people, and I learned a lot about Park City history, which was really the most fun part about writing that book. Just all the origins of the skiing in this town, both at Deer Valley and the town at large.
Yes.
So that was fascinating. I just love learning, and so when you're researching any kind of writing piece, you learn a lot. So
No question.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I've been thinking a lot about Stein this year.
Yes.
And talk about a legacy in this town and at Deer Valley.
Yeah.
I miss that guy.
I know, I do too. I mean, you see him every day at Deer Valley with his perfect hair, and such a handsome man.
Incredible.
Well into his, I think he was 88 when he died, maybe. He was still just this great-looking, athletic guy, and so charismatic, incredibly charismatic.
Just breathe in, breathe out.
Yes.
Charisma.
Yeah, and talk about someone who made skiing their entire life. And in this article I talked about, we've raised our boy. My husband and I were both raised skiing. We've raised our son skiing, and it's so easy living here.
Absolutely.
You're 10 minutes from a mountain. It doesn't take a lot of effort. But Stein was always an inspiration because he grew up that way, and I've interviewed him multiple times, and he would talk about, his dad and his brother were great skiers too, and Olympians, I think, and they would have a sauna every day. That was part of their Norwegian culture. The father was like, you have to have a sauna every day, and you have to ski every day. And they were just they lived it and breathed it, and they had fondue every night after skiing. I was like, that's the life I want. That's really great. So I always admired that about all of Stein's stories. And then he parlayed that into an entire career.
Unbelievable.
And lived that every day. And he really promoted that joy to other people.
Truly.
And I have my boys right now are home in our hot tub with friends because they skied today. And I just love it. They're back everyone goes out and skis. You come back at the end of the day, and the skiing, it's not just the skiing, it's the whole lifestyle of it. It's, making dinner after and having a hot tub and sitting by the fire and
having the hunger that you only get from making a bunch of turns.
Exactly.
And all of that.
Yeah. So it's such a good way to spend family time. It's just, when you're on the chairlift, there's no screens, and well, there could be phones, but we try not to do that. But
absolutely.
You're out, you talk. You talk on the chair with your friends or your family, and it's just and then you sit in the hot tub later and you talk there. It's just a really good way to spend time with people.
I think of all of the sports that recreational activities that I've been fortunate to learn and engage in, and I have a great passion for surfing.
Yeah.
The great game of golf that really gave me and our entire family kind of a leg up and out of ignominy in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And yet I think skiing in many ways is perhaps the most social of all.
It really is.
You don't have a foursome.
Right.
You ski with everybody on the mountain.
It's true. And you meet people on the chairlift. I mean, that's just one of our favorite things. You always meet someone from the chairlift, and you always have this pride when they say, oh, where are you from? And you get to say, well, I live here.
Yes.
And then they're always so curious. Really? Well, what do you do? How do you get to do that? But it's fun to see their reactions. Is it your first time here? Oh yeah, I'm from West Virginia, and I've never skied out west before. It's just, you kind of relive that excitement that you remember when you first moved here by talking to people. And sometimes you ski a few runs with somebody, they're like, can you show me where to go? And so I think you're right. It's really social.
It really is a wonderful life.
It is. We're lucky.
What's up for you for 2018? Have you got big pieces you're working on now?
Not so far. I'm still kind of playing catch up from the holidays and stuff. I also write for the Sundance catalog, not the film catalog, but the clothing and the home stuff.
Yes.
And that's my little regular bread and butter now. And they keep me very busy. It's very fun. And again, they have Sundance Resort. Sundance Institute is the umbrella. And the catalog actually was started, I think 28 years ago, something like that
long.
To fund the film festival. So that's why they started the Sundance catalog, was to raise money for the film festival. So I feel like it's contributing to the arts. Of course, the film festival's starting next week.
This week.
But yeah,
52
honestly,
hours, not to put too fine a point on it.
you guys know, you know when it's coming. But I'd like to do some more spin-off articles from this, like you said, about some other things. And then just make sure I get out on the hill and get inspired to write other things.
Keep that inspiration.
Yeah.
Well, you have a lovely style, and
Thank
like
you.
I say, I was just compelled to reach out and get a little good vibes in here in the studio.
Thank you.
Tell folks where they can follow along with all of your writing on the interwebs and social media.
Gosh, I don't advertise that much, but I still write for Park City Magazine all the time. They're like family, even though I'm not the editor anymore. I always contribute.
Right.
And Ski Utah I write for, and I'm on Facebook, Kristen Gould Case, and that's about it.
Awesome.
So,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Really lovely to stumble, truly, across a wonderful piece, and I enjoyed it so much. And I feel like saying thank you for being a wonderful ambassador for our lovely city, that as we have more and more visitors and it becomes a little bit more of a transitory place, that it's
definitely
so
bigger than
great,
it was.
So great to know that there are locals such as yourself and your lovely family who are keeping the dream of our Park City alive.
It's easy to love it, right? I mean, it's more crowded, but it's still got that wonderful vibe, and you still see people you've known years ago, and
it's true.
Everyone says hi, and don't forget, you can still bring like a 6-pack of beer to the ski tuners, and they'll hook you up.
That is true. We were just watching a piece from my pal Eric Bowler, and he will accept.
Yes.
He will accept a 6-pack.
Some of us were talking about that yesterday. So the locals are still stick together.
It's true. We're still here. So
Thank
great
you
to
so
meet you,
much.
Kristen.
Thanks a lot for having
me. Happy New Year. All the best.
Too.
All right, you guys, quick break. We're going to talk with our pal Mackenzie Romero Harker from the Society of Professional Journalists. We've got a fantastic event going to be coming up. Our Utah Olympic journalists. Right after this, stay tuned.